Ah, sir, please tutors, please ask your bots to join immediately. சங்கர் சங்கர் கொஞ்சம் அந்த ஃபேக்கல்டிஸ் எல்லாரும் ஜாயின் பண்ண சொல்லுங்க. நம்ம ஆட்களை இவங்களே 30 பேர் இருப்பாங்க. அந்த ஃபேக்கல்டி எல்லாம் ஜாயின் பண்ண சொல்லுங்க. சொல்லுங்க. என்னப்பா பண்ணிட்டு இருக்க? என்ன பண்ணிட்டு இருக்க? இங்க பிளேஸ்மெண்ட் ஆஃபீஸர் போய் பார்த்து போனா. Right, Hari, we will start.
Sir. Yes, sir. So I welcome you all for this webinar on young entrepreneurs journey. So I would like to ask our professor, head of the mechanical department, Dr. K. Manisegar, to introduce the speaker, Mr. Kravinder Kamal, to the audience. Please, sir.
Okay, thank you, Hari. So I'm happy to join with Harihara Sakti Sudan in welcoming the today's guest of the day, Mr. Kravinder Kamal, founder and managing director, Maker Global, Hyderabad. So he's a young entrepreneur in the field of 3D printing. He completed his mechanical engineering in 2015 from LICET. So he has selected his career as a product design engineer in Hyderabad and started a company named Maker Global, which specializes in products and services such as 3D printer, 3D scanner, and rapid prototyping and reverse engineering scale model making, small scale manufacturing and product development. So this Maker Global is a 2-year-old company, and they are having a good talented team of mechanical and electronics design engineers. They have a very good client base, which includes startups, design and product development companies, hospitals, Indian Army and Indian and South African. So he has achieved, his company has been recognized as one among the top 10 3D printing companies in Hyderabad by Silicon India Startup Policy, Star P50 magazine. He worked with he has also worked with Tata Aerospace, Indo-South African Joint Government Projects and Product Development for DRDL, that is Defense Research and Development Laboratory. So I am happy to welcome once again Mr. Kravinder Kamal, an eminent personality in the startup area, because only few students, they used to choose this startup as the entrepreneurship as a career. So in this regard, I am really happy to welcome this Kravinder Kamal once again to our meeting webinar. So welcome you, sir. Thank you. You can proceed, sir.
Thank you so much, sir. Thanks for the good introduction. So first of all, good afternoon, everyone. Hari sir, can I continue? Shall I go ahead?
Yeah, you can, Kravinder.
Yes, sir, sure. So thank you, management, HOD sir, and Hari sir particularly. Hari sir is my professor in back-end research, when I'm studying mechanical engineering, and it's very, very nice to connect here to talk entrepreneurship. This is quite a very personal, very favorite, a topic to discuss always, because I always felt after starting up the company, I always felt, like we should, after 2 and 3 years of making the company stabilized, I always felt we have to meet a lot of students, we have to meet a lot of engineering third year and final year students, try to motivate as much as possible to make them self-reliable, join with their team and make some startups and create more job opportunities in the country. So today is such one event where they're almost addressing 100 people here, so who are very much motivated to forward to start something in a startup in coming future. So I'll start with my journey, and later we can get into Q&A sessions and we can talk more in detail about the technicalities or difficulties or how to overcome the challenges of other things. So I myself passed out in 2015 in mechanical engineering from Loyola College. It stands for Loyola ECAM, Loyola ECAM College of Engineering Technology in Chennai, in Nungambakam. And my hometown is Perambalur, near Trichy. And so during my engineering, my college gave me a good exposure on multiple things, both technical and also, we had a foreign exchange program where we went to France and we made a 3D printer over there. And I saw the technological differences where, there are things more advanced and growing faster in Western countries, the technologies. And in India, 3D printing was very in an early stage that time. And coming back to my college and final year after completing the exams, so I'm more passionate on design role. So when I'm searching what I want to do in my life, so on choosing between production, quality, maintenance, design, R&D. So I got to know in my 4 years of engineering, I'm so good in, or I'm so interested or passionate about designing products. Designing in the sense, keeping my mind always busy, thinking about something, creating something. So I decided that I have to get into a design role in my career. So that is the only one decision which I made right after my college. So when I started looking out for jobs, after 3-4 months of college, within 3-4 months, I was very restless where I should just get on to a job, and particularly it has to be a design role. So Hyderabad, I had a startup. I mean, there was a startup who posted a design role, and I applied for it, and I fortunate enough to get through the interview, and people. No other jobs in Chennai. In Chennai, I got offers from production. I got offers from maintenance. Since Hyderabad-based startup offered me a design role in their company, so I took the decision to travel to Hyderabad, irrespective of knowing Hindi or not knowing Hindi. I was very career motivated to travel other state to pursue my design passion. I need to get into a design role, irrespective of where it is, where the company is. So I got into Hyderabad. It's a startup. We started designing camera equipments. So equipments related to camera industry, DSLR, mobile recording devices, tripod, all those camera accessories, those sort of products to sell to people. So I'm one of the main designer over there, and I'm designing a lot of products. And we started prototyping those products. And during our prototyping, after my design is over, during prototyping, I used to go to the manufacturing area, get all manufacturing of metal done, and also there are some plastic products involved. So when I was doing those plastic products, I can't make a die for it because I'm testing my design, right? So if I'm testing my design, can you hear me? Okay. So when I'm testing my design, I need to get something in plastic done. So I can't invest in a mold. My boss, my company can't invest in die or mold, where we have to go into 3D printing, right? So there was a company in Chennai where we offered our designs to them, and we started getting quotations for 3D printing. The quotation is very expensive. So to make something in 3D printing in India, back in 5 years before, the quotes were very higher. They started charging 250 rupees or 300 rupees per hour of printing. So each of our component is like 10 to 20 hours, and there's multiple components over there. So then I started realizing 3D printing was not full-fledged grown in India, which means either it as a service or either to buy the machine. I started checking out the machine prices in Amazon.com and .in. The prices has a huge difference. There was a huge customs duty. There was a huge support fee, service fee, and the prices are so high in machine sales and as well as service. If I want to get my parts printed, so something was going on in my mind that there is a scope. There is a huge scope for 3D printing, but the prices are so high. So this was going on my mind, and I started learning the design process, prototyping process in my first company where I was working in. And then I want to develop something on my own. And there was a one fine day where I suddenly, started thinking, why can't I develop a product and sell it to the market? I have no idea. I'm just a college graduate person where with just a 9 month of experience, and I have this crazy dream or a passion or an interest to do something on my own. I don't know. I'm not. I mean, if you ask me, am I fully prepared for it or am I fully ready for it? It's no. But the interest and the passion is driving me very fast, where it is allowing me to learn whatever it comes on the way. So I quit the company where I was working on, and I mean before I was quitting, I got this idea of making a 3D printer. So one fine day was suddenly it stood on my mind that this is the product. I have to make a 3D printer, and I'm going to sell it to the market. Because being a mechanical engineer that time, we don't know, it is whether it is market sellable. I don't know anything about marketing, right? Nothing about advertising, nothing about marketing, nothing about distribution, nothing about setting up a company, how to register a company, how to hire a team. I always worked with mechanical colleagues, how to hire a electronics team where I need. These are all very new, but there is only one interest, that making a 3D printer and selling it to the market. This idea or this interest is driving me so crazily that I'm confident enough to find funds and do all the things on the way. So we started. I started alone. I took a space in Hyderabad. I mean, I had a friend who's helping me out, so I just thought I'll just start out in Hyderabad itself. So a lot of people ask me, "So why are you in Hyderabad? You're from Tamil Nadu. So why are you in Hyderabad?" So I don't know. I still want to come back to Tamil Nadu, set up in Chennai. We kept a branch recently in Bangalore, and the next one is in Chennai. So that time we started up in Hyderabad, and I first 9 months we are into training. There was no much of funds to do product development that time. It takes a lot of money to do R&D on printers. So I took a decision of first of all investing in training, buy a machine, start doing 3D printing trainings, and then with that amount as investment, I'll be investing back into my R&D so that I can do my printer research. So I for 9 months I was fully into training. During my the period of 9 months, I learned many things. The first 9 months was the toughest period of my 4.5 year. I mean, right now it's 4.5 year old. The company is Maker Global, and the first 9 months I'll still say it's a very toughest period. So I didn't said to my father that I started up a company. My father doesn't know. He knows that I'm still working. If I say that I'm starting up a company, he'll be very scared. You're quitting your job, there is no salary, and you're going to borrow money and you're going to start something. He'll be very scared. I didn't said to my father, and I thought I'll do something, I'll achieve something, and then I'll tell. But I started up with some couple of loans. I with personal loans, I started up, bought a 3D printer, and started doing training. And the first training I had listed out in Book My Show, and I had a 30 participant. I remember it is July 30, 2017. Sorry, 2016. That's my first workshop. And when the 30 people I presented to, and everybody are so curious. They they didn't know
phone not reachable வருது.
They didn't know that like they're not
வீட்ல
feeling it like I'm a small person
வண்டி
or I'm just a college graduate. They're so interested to listen to me because I'm talking something new. I'm talking some future technology. 3D printing is driving them very crazy as well, so that they listen to me. When I'm 5 years old, I'm 5 years younger. I'm just a college graduate. So they're listening to me. They started listening to the technology, the types of 3D printing, how 3D printing can help in their product developments, how it can help in multiple ways. So after that session, and it paid us some good amount, then I realized, I never need to go back and start working somewhere. This is creating some different feeling, right? So it's like you started giving value to somebody, to an audience. Either it may be training audience, either it may be you're selling a machine and you're making them develop something, and they are sending you designs and you helping them out make their products. You started creating value. So as an engineering student, I never realized this, like what is called a service, what is called supplying a product. But when this first workshop happened, it came to me very clearly that this is more exciting than working somewhere. This is giving a great enthusiasm where I can love what I'm doing, and still I can earn money and I can survive. And even though I'm not earn a lot, but still I can able to cover up my the initial expenses of office and everything. So in first 9 months it was all training, and we took a second step. We scaled up. We borrowed some more money, and we started up R&D. So we started researching on 3D printers. We imported a lot of components. We started designing in 3D, and we started manufacturing our printers. And we launched our printer, and we sold multiple printers in the end of the second year. So second year is all about 3D printer manufacturing. And once the second year end, we started getting a lot of service orders, because once you are in 2 year in market, people recognize you more in Google, and they keep calling you for, I need this solution, I need that solution. From engineering background, from architecture, we started getting calls from medical background. They want to print MRI scans. We started getting calls from movie backgrounds. They want to print props of movies. The lot of engineering prototypes. And the speciality of our team is, by the end of second year, we got good number of mechanical engineers and electronic engineers. We grown up to a good level, and we are able to do a very good quality check of their design before printing, and able to suggest them additional electronic support, additional mechanical support. So we are very clearly different from other 3D printing company, because other 3D printing companies just print STLs. They get the file and they print it. But we started understanding the value of us. We being a core mechanical and electronic engineering company, not only 3D printing, we are able to suggest them what are the alternative manufacturing methods, what are the best way to make your product, this in 3D printing, this in acrylic cutting, this in CNC. So we started being a very good consultant, and also we take up job and do all varieties of manufacturing works equally in 3D printing and also in product developments. So from third year and fourth year and now, it's all good growing, because a good business is something when you have new audience, right? So if you have every day new people calling you, your industry is new. People have regular requirements. So we started having that belief, because every day we have so many new calls asking for solutions for different things. So we started executing 3 to 5 orders per day, and if you calculate 150 200 orders, or maybe more than 200 orders per month, it includes machine sales, it includes prototyping services, it includes many things, scale models, manufacturing, electronics development. And the end of the third year, we got a big breakthrough of our name being published a lot, because there is something about startup. If you have a perseverance to stay for some time in the market, let's say 2 year or 3 year, after that 2 year or 3 year, you get recognized by a lot of people. You don't need to call people call you. And they ask for services. I got a call from Rajamouli, Bahubali director. I spoke to him. He wants something for his next movie. We are doing something for a Shankar movie, and lot. We done for Narendra Modi. We done one for a Gandhi museum. We got a direct order from Prime Minister office, and we installed a sculpture. It's all 3D printed and then casted. It's a joint government project, South African and Indian government. It was installed in a Pittsburgh station in South Africa. So we started getting recognized everywhere because that's the power of perseverance. If the first year, if I would have quit, saying it's very tough financially, mentally, no support, there is no team in the first year. If I would have quit in the first year, there is no Maker Global now. Like you can't have a 4-year journey, 5-year journey, and counting. So then after 2.5 or 3 years, you started getting recognized by everybody, getting calls from variety of industries, and it's all roll and roll. It keeps going on. So I'm so much motivated, not by not by money or not by the business, but I'm so much motivated by this process. Like you keep learning. Like as a person, as an engineer, I keep seeing every day new orders, variety of orders. I give manufacturing solutions to multiple people every day. So this keeps feeding my hunger of knowledge, and when you grow, it means your company grows, right? Your company grows and your team grows, which means you're hiring more people. You're giving opportunity to multiple freshers out there to come into your company. You're creating employment. How many of you here? We have 100 participants here. So how many of you have fear of after I pass out, what I'll do? What if I don't get a campus interview? So I never cared about campus interview because I'm so much confident on myself. I'm not a 8 CGPA, 9 CGPA person. I'm just a 7 CGPA person, all clear, no history of arrears. But I'm so confident on me that I will go out in the market, I'll find a job and I'll do that. So if you have a confidence of that, you will find a better job. And the same quality was there to do this also. So the same way, if you're fearing after your college what you're going to do, you don't need to fear. Like when I started 5 years before, there is nothing called Startup India or all this programs happening now. But if you look at last 2 year or 3 year, you have so much of startup programs going on. The central government, I don't know whether they are implementing it in action or not, but the word is getting an attention, which means people are getting attracted to startup. But it's not easy. It's not easy. It needs a pure perseverance. People start up, they quit after a year and all that. But the new ecosystem is forming. People are welcoming you. Like there are medium scale enterprises, MSME sort of loans have been given if you want to start up. And before, if you go out and say, I want to start up, your parents may not accept. But now there is huge number of, sort of exposure has been given to the society. Even a kid says, I want to start up, parents may accept. And the best way to do that is starting from your college, because you will not have a risk of, after passing out, starting something. It's a risk. You should take that risk. Without risk, this cannot be formed. But this is the right time. Like from your college, if you start doing this, you'll form an easy team. You'll get good mentors, and you don't need to rent out a space. You don't need to rent out a machining center. You have everything. You have all the lab in your college. You have all the mentors in your college. You have every computer, every internet, and you have so many friends for you to help you from all departments. So the best way to start up is starting up from your college. So 4 years and 5 years now, I'm very happy, as I said to you, that I struggle every day because this business have grown more than my mind, which means like when I had 10 customer, 20 customer, 50 customer, it is under my limit, right? But when your company keep growing, this is growing more than you, which means I'm not equal to Maker Global. Maker Global is something bigger than who I am, which means this is serving hundreds and hundreds of people, which is demanding me to work continuously, struggle continuously to make process, to make system, to hire people on time, to do a lot of planning on time, to maintain this company and also to scale up. A startup is something which keeps scaling up. If a startup do like this, a straight line, it's not a startup. It's a very saturated MNC maybe. But if you're a startup, you have to keep growing every year, a consistent growth. So not a straight line. So to have that continuous growth, you have to do a lot of planning and you have to keep innovating your methodologies, your customer retention, and more additional of services. How you can bring in more orders and everything. So all other things about marketing and stuff I don't want to talk. So that you will come to know when you really start up and you get into the action. But as an engineering student, this is this is so good, and you are in the right period of doing it. So because you have this avoid Chinese products slogan going on, which means lot of make in India products will be accepted. People are, I had a call from a person. He said, I want a printer which is made in India. I don't mind if I pay extra 10,000-20,000 rupees. I need a printer which is made in India. So this sort of sentences we never heard 4 years before. They say, it's very cheaper out there, I'll just buy it. But now if you are somebody who's starting up and doing something, people are going to welcome you, and people are going to trust your product, and they're going to invest, or they're going to join your team, and they're going to buy your products, because more awareness is being created for made in India products or startup India, or whatever startups starting up in India. So so I feel this is the best time where you all can find your interest. Somebody would have been interested in an industrial products, somebody in consumer products, somebody in service. It can be any service, it can be digital. I hope the participants are from different backgrounds. So it can be an IT service, it can be from anything, it can be from web-based app or anything. So you have to find your interest, where you have to work every day, Monday to Sunday. You have to work each and every day. And if you can find that interest which can hold you, or you can hold that for lifelong, you got the point. Then you can start up with your friends, or you can start alone now, and you can keep working on it, and once you graduate you can make it bigger. So by the time you graduate, if you're not getting a job, you can always do this. Or if you don't want a job, you can always take this full-fledged. So when I say startup, you don't need to get a fear. Initially keep the expectations very low. People keep expectations really high. I just want to make 100 crore turnover company in the first year itself. No, it won't work like that. If you're from a very wealthy background, that might happen because of a huge investment. But we all started with bootstrapping, right? Bootstrapping is something where you invest a small amount, make profit, reinvest the profit. You have to keep reinvesting the profit again and again to make your company bigger. So for first 3 years, for first 3-4 years, we didn't even took the profit out, which means we bought more machines, we hired more people, we went to a bigger space, we shifted our office space to bigger spaces. So this is how we bootstrap. So you can do that. So this is the right time where you all can do that, where you won't only get a job, where you will create more other jobs. Even if you at least give a job to 4 other people, you're creating employment. Abdul Kalam used to say, don't be a job seeker, be a job creator. So there is another big advantage for the country as well. So you're not reliant on anybody. You're not asking any company to hire you. You're creating a job for yourself, and you're also hiring 4 more or 5 more people with you, and you're forming a product or service, providing solutions to the people. And this is beautiful. So this is the proper way of getting into a career. So this is what I feel. And any questions we can take up, and this is my startup journey. And I can show you around. Maybe before taking up the question, I can show you around what works. I can actually show the office, and then maybe I can take up the question.
Kravinder?
Please, hi sir.
Yeah, actually they will type the question in the chat box. I request the audience, if you have any questions, you can type in the chat box so that I will read out. Mr. Kravinder will answer for that.
So this is our machine room, where all the 3D printers are over there. Hi George. So he's our designer here, George Manikanta, who handles our prototyping. So this is a machine room where we 3D print things, and these are all the materials where you have high temperature, low temperature, flexible, multiple materials as per the requirement of people. And this is a display where display few items where everything is printed and post processed. So here is where we do the design works. So here we have our team. Selvam, he's also from Tamil Nadu, from Dindikal. Say hi.
Hi.
So he's our chief designer here. Syed, he's our electronics engineer, who also involved in making 3D printers. So Rajesh, our new designer, he's also from Salem. And so we keep doing, I know, like, so how you have 3D printing over there and you have design works keep happening. People come from different industries. So we use 3D scanning and visual measurement methods, and also to create new designs. So we use SolidWorks in our office. So that's all about office.
Kravinder, I have a question.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, you said that you are using SolidWorks for making all the models, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, and here we have a batch of students every year in the mechanical department. We have students who are having some earning some good expertise in the SolidWorks, and they are doing certification courses in multi-level.
Yes,
and even 6 to 7 levels like additive manufacturing, as you say, in many of the certification courses they are completing, right? And to what extent you are involving this SolidWorks in your projects?
Okay. Sure, sir. I'll answer this. So SolidWorks is one software where we had option of Creo, PTC Creo. We have Fusion 360. We have SolidWorks, and SolidWorks is something which we feel not expensive as Creo and not very low profile as Fusion. SolidWorks has all the commands, and we prefer SolidWorks. So SolidWorks, we involve part modeling, assembling, basic rendering, and we also use KeyShot for rendering, and we also do a little bit of analysis. But again, usage of SolidWorks depends on our customers. If it's a small prototype, let's say there is a mask. These profiles are not part modeling, right? These are all surface modeling. So these sort of things, Creo doesn't have a good surface modeling commands, but SolidWorks has good surface modeling commands actually. So we do part modeling, we do surface modeling, and a little bit of sheet metal and a lot of assembly and rendering. So rendering we do it in KeyShot for sure, but it's all mostly for part design, sir. It's all for part modeling actually, and very rarely for surface. Very rarely the surface products used to come. And so if you ask me, we use SolidWorks very intensively for mission design because we manufacture our own 3D printers, right? So all our components will be designed in SolidWorks. Assembly of the machine will be done in SolidWorks, and all the prototypes will be designed in SolidWorks. People come with the idea. So 50% of our clients come with designs, and remaining 50% of clients just come with very random, idea. So we develop it in SolidWorks. It's all part modeling and assembly, and very rarely surface modeling.
Okay, here one of our audience has asked a question. Mr. Vinod, he's an assistant professor in our department.
Yes,
He asked that what are the tests that you will be taken after the manufacturing of prototypes that you are creating using 3D printing? Do you do such things? Because you do the parts for some artful applications. So or also do you do any parts for engineering applications?
Yeah, a lot. Majorly it's for engineering components actually. So the thing is, people don't ask for a testing with us because this is all prototypes. This is all prototypes before making a mold. So uh, the injection molding testing will be different. The part which is come out of injection molding is different, and the part which comes out of 3D printing is different. So the reason why they don't ask us 99% the testing is these materials are 3D printed to have a fitment check and the form check, and also they use it for real applications as well. So in majority of the cases, so they will not be asking for testing because they know after this prototype they are going for injection molding, and in injection molding they carry out the test, all the load test and everything. But in 3D printing, mostly no, like 90% no. But but um, but in certain cases, where people ask us directly to print things and use it in their product, in those cases we use our little bit of instinct, and we adjust the thickness and stuff and make it work. And we really don't do a lot of testing in FDM. But if it comes to metal, we have metal 3D printers in Mumbai, and in those cases, the aerospace companies really do ask for a testing certificate before they actually put up in their any machine or mechanism or anything. But for the regular product developers who are making an enclosure for their electronics, or who's making a mask, this is a cross section of a mask, who's getting into injection molding of all this and getting into, it's a respirator based mask. So they know they are going to test the fitment, they're going to test the form, and then once this is done, they're going for the injection molding, and they will do the test on that products. So 90% they are not going to do test on 3D printing products. And if it is metal 3D printing, yes, they will do it. Only when the case where they are going to put that into an intensive load, because in majority of the cases they are not going to put this under an intensive load or any dynamic load here. So it's all going to be static enclosures. It has a very good strength, bonding strength as well. So all art models, pattern making, or anything. So this supports all the requirements of strength. So as far as I say, testing, no, not much.
Okay. And one more participant asked, Mr. Anand Vail, a student, he's asking that how do you get an idea or getting attracted towards the 3D printing startup?
So 3D printing is something which is very related to design. 3D printing is not possible without a design, right? It needs a design. So I said I was interested in being a designer. Choosing a design as my career. And when I want to start 3D printing is more linked to design. So all my customers talk designs to me. So they send a design. I interact with the design. So where we see whether it is workable or not. So my every day-to-day life is design, where I need to check designs and print it, where we have to create designs and print it, where we have to create new product developments. We work for army and robotics and a lot of projects. So it's all design. So 3D printing is very related to design. So I maybe the design interest and also to make a product on my own. This both interest, maybe the reason for why I picked 3D printing. And 3D printing is something which is booming and growing in the market, because people used to say if you're starting up or doing something in startup, always choose a growing market. So don't choose a saturated market already. Let's say if you say I'm going to buy 5 CNC machines and make a machining center, it's not new. If you go to Coimbatore, if you go to Hyderabad, there is an area called Fatehnagar here. If you go to Bangalore, everywhere, like there is an industrial area with huge CNC machines, right? So there is already a price war going on, and you're not going to do any innovation, or people are not really going to. It is very tough out competition there. So if you're doing a startup, it has to be a new technology. It has to be a growing technology where it needs to have very new customer every day. And next 20 or 30 year, it has to be the boom. How do I say? Let's say drone, DGCI. A lot of rules are coming up now, and drone is the next thing. And if you say artificial intelligence, that's the next thing. Automation industrial automation, that is going to be there for next 20, 30 years. And if you say data science, as a company, we have huge data going in, people calling that, this and all that. So data is more a big thing. So when I was starting up 5 years before, I saw 3D printing in the same way. Now we have so many companies in India, in every city, and people still learn 3D printing more because I know this is going to be the new thing for 20 years. People still going to think this is a new thing, but this is started in 19th century. But it is getting into the people's hand now only. It is reaching to masses. It is reaching to multiple hands of students, all startups, everywhere. It's reaching now because of the growth of this market. So before 5 years, I got to choose this industry for 3 reasons. It's more related to design, where I can love what I'm doing every day, and second thing is this is a very new technology, and it's a growing technology. And I want to make a machine, so I want to make a 3D printer. So I choose the 3D printers product. So all these 3 reasons is something which made me to get into this industry, 3D printing.
Hi, Dr. Mr. Karvinder, this is Dr. Vinod here.
Hello, sir.
Hi, how are you? In fact, I look forward to meet you. Okay, great. I know it's an awesome presentation. I've seen your facility. It's amazing. In fact, in our incubation center, in the pre-incubation center below, we have a 3D printer, but I don't know the scope of that because other person is handling that. So I just want to know the main use cases. Of course, you are developing 3D printers, and apart from that, what are the sectors that you cater to? Like when you model, whether it's you focused on automotive or aerospace, or what is that your main focus on currently? What is your clientele or your customers, in which sector you mainly you have more knowledge?
Yeah. So my clientele, since it depends on my locations actually. For example, right now I'm sitting in the center of the city, like how we sit in Nungambakam in Chennai. The same way I sit in an area called Panjagutta in Hyderabad, which is very center, which means I present inside the city where a lot of design offices are around, which means a lot of product developments are going on around me. So our industrial area is just 30 kilometers away from me, which means yes, if there is lot of design offices, it's all going to be R&D. It's all going to be product developments. They keep designing in SolidWorks.
Say, for example, even in architect or construction side, they use, am I right? Some modeling, but previously they use AutoCAD for 2D. But of course, you're using SolidWorks because that's where you come up with this 3D and so. So yes. I just want to know where the scope is more now, because you are in that industry. I'm understanding, okay, you're talking about the generic, the industry, but which industry is like the design predominantly they use in automotive industry, my knowledge, and aerospace. Am I right? The two are main. Am I right? That's why I'm trying to understand. Which sector use more, in fact, the design thing, apart from the construction, the architect design I'm talking about, because predominantly they use this 2D design. Am I right? The AutoCAD.
Yes. So I'll say in that way, I'll just broadly classify, engineering or manufacturing, architecture or art or something else. So architecture, art, all this stuff goes away. It's all about engineering. It's all about manufacturing. So aerospace, it's high level 3D printing. They are into titanium metal 3D printing. They are into SLS, powder 3D printing. So their technologies are higher and the value is higher. But if you come down,
so with your machine, you cannot model for them. That's what you are saying, or you need a.
So we have two technologies in house. One is FDM. So that is made out of plastic wires, and we have resin 3D printers. That's made out of liquid. So the third technology is called SLS and metal. We don't have metal in house. We have it in Mumbai, one in Chennai, and it is not that we can't. But if they want the particular component for aerospace, which needed in metal, and if it cannot be made in CNC or something, it needs to be made in.
What is it? Metal? Titanium? Am I right? Is that
we have stainless steel. We have aluminum 6061, titanium. We have gold 3D printing, real gold metal. We have silver. Okay. So, but for my knowledge, if you ask,
so you use 24 karat gold for 3D printing?
Correct.
Maybe, really?
Maybe the carat is different for the strength factor, but it's gold, the real gold.
Oh, very good. Yeah.
So it's all about engineering. So it's all about manufacturing, components, product, development. I mean, it's more about plastic. I can say plastic industry. Plastic industry is hugely getting benefited out of 3D printing. The reason is they are avoiding the mold making process. 50 pieces, 100 pieces, 500 pieces. They can't invest in a mold. For example, after 500 pieces, if your design changes, people are not sure of their design. Like they don't want to invest in a bulky die. So they want to keep 3D printing it. So I have many clients who are into plastic manufacturing. They keep coming. I mean, plastic manufacturing in the sense, it can be an electronics industry. It can be
I understand.
any industry where the plastics are involved. So that is the biggest,
But in that sense, the plastic won't be just one of the component. Am I right? It'll have multiple things. Am I right? Eventually. So
Exactly.
okay.
See, I always say this to people. So never consider 3D printing as one solution provider. So as an engineer, I always, like we always say, we even 3D printing and product development, which involves even manufacturing and mold making everything. Which means when somebody sheet with 5 mm thickness, I will not say 3D printing, it's acrylic cutting. So we have to mix up technologies. When somebody comes to you and say, I want to 3D printing, acrylic, CNC metal, laser cutting, all those technologies are involved. So
You don't do CNC and other
yes, we
things.
do.
Am I right? You do that? Oh, you do a CNC machine. Oh,
because after 2 years, we got to know that we cannot solve every problem with 3D printing. 3D printing is able to solve the problem. There are some very costly methods in the market where 3D printing broke all that and it made it cheaper. But there are still some things which can be done the previous conventional methods, right? So we mix up.
Then you
whatever we
integrate
try.
everything. So you build something here and then you do something cutting and then you integrate and
Correct.
oh,
It's
okay.
all about the requirement, which is the right
So
method.
you provide end-to-end solution for the design
Exactly.
thing? Oh, you do? Oh, amazing.
We offer as a product.
Maybe if I come to Harvard, I love to meet you. Your facility and meet you. And
Same here.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, Dr. Ari, you can take it.
Yes, sir. Sir, actually, he has shown around the facility that he has in.
Yeah, I was seeing that. Yeah, it's amazing. Am I right?
Yeah.
I looked into that. Yeah, I just joined that. While you were showing that.
Yeah. Sure, sir. And
That's what I was telling him. It's now he has more sophisticated technology than our incubation center. So it's amazing. Okay.
And one more participant has asked a question, Kravinder, and
Yes.
he's also the same guy, the Anand Vel. He's asking that whether it is possible to make a movable part, like automation kind of product, like robots, and do you have any experience on that?
Yeah, like make the products. What methods?
Yeah,
3D printing.
using 3D printing, can you make like a robotic arm automation or like such kind
We
of
do,
thing?
sir. We doing it even now. There is one order going on. So we are doing a robotic arm, Enmo arm. I can even show you that. So we do, sir. It's all we provide 100% density, and we make robotic parts as well. It's all robotic components. It's all for a robotic arm, actually.
Is that 3D printed?
Yeah, it's 3D printed. It's Inmo. It's called Inmo robot. If you can Google it, again MOOV. It has all degrees of freedom, just like a human. All the parts can be 3D printed, and that's an Inmo head. This is an Inmo head.
Yeah. Okay.
So it's all 100% solid, in a solid density to actually bear the load and everything. So it's not only that's what people misconception is the strength and everything. We have different materials and different settings for everything. You want a tire, we have flexible material and everything. So we are right from an let's say normal enclosure. It's a battery enclosure for a high expensive camera, or from a small component level too. So we have every sort of products here. So it's all say like somebody says, I want a flat sheet like this. I want a flat sheet like this. I will not do in 3D printing. It's acrylic cutting is preferable, and this is all again 3D printed. If somebody wants a greater finish, it's actually a bed pan where there is a US customer who want to launch a product. See, it's all printed and it's all putty done. It's all painted in silver. So when somebody wants a finished look, if you can, maybe that might be a question. What if I want a so finished look, just like an injection molded part, or I want to present it to my investors or something? We do the post processing service. This became our integral, uh, an additional requirement from the clients. We started offering, those sort of services as well.
Do you involve in the ideation process too, or they have to
Exactly.
come up with a solid design and then from there
we do involve in ideation process also, sir, because
how do you handle then the IPR part, the NDA and NCA?
We have an NDA with all our clients actually. So all the clients was a very proprietary idea. We do sign the NDA actually. When it's a proprietary idea, but if it's an open source, they even know that it can be copied by any people, right? So that way. So let's say somebody want to get into casting industry, they want to smoothen it before it goes for casting. So it'll be post processed. Or let's say a big enclosure, not a smaller one. So we have even a 500 mm by 500 mm printer where we can actually print some bigger items. So this is
proprietary in the sense they have to come up with a patent filed or something like that, or not necessarily.
Let's say somebody says, I got a new idea, but I'm so scared to share it with you. So what is the guarantee? Then we sign an NDA. So you all the designs, right? So if we made a C295, an aircraft for Tata, and it was a design which came directly from Airbus. They shared a design directly from Airbus design file. So we need to sign the NDA.
Very good, very good.
And we also can, anybody who's even a startup or a student who thinks that they're going to make some new product. So we need to sign the NDA even for that, even from a smaller level to bigger level. So when it is considered as a proprietary design.
Okay, that's the only thing I want to know. Not necessarily it's patented, but still, even if the idea level, you can sign an NDA. Okay, very good.
I can show you maybe a lot of portfolio. If I can share my screen, if that is okay. Arizar, can I do that?
Yeah, you can.
I think you should enable me do this.
Gerald, make him a co-host, so he can share the screen. Karvinder can. Gerald?
I can share it.
Okay.
Sir, okay. Make the host.
Yeah, sure. So I hope you can see my screen, right?
Yeah.
So this is Airbus we did for Tata Aerospace. So it is 5 feet model, where it's all printed in parts.
Printed in parts. How many parts in that design? In that one?
10, 12 parts might be.
Oh, great. Okay.
So and then it is all assembled, putty done. Tata Aerospace came with a requirement saying that when we need to make an accurate scale model. So there is a Singapore printed in color. It's out of gypsum powder. So when someone's a full color model, we actually can print it. It's been given to Allu Arjun for Rudrama Devi, some movie promotion. And this is all for scale models for a defense unit.
Amazing. Awesome.